If you clicked on this video hoping to get something from it, but you don't want to sit here and just listen to me talk for however long this video is going to go on, then you can go ahead and click off the video, because there's no point even wasting your time watching through any of this if you're not going to watch to the end. But for those of you who are going to watch to the end and who are actually interested in what I have to say, welcome, and I hope you can get some value out of this and stick around. So this morning I'm on my daily drive to work as usual, and I'm just kind of sitting here thinking as I'm listening to music, and a lot of times I'll hear certain songs and stuff, and I'll kind of get this vision in my mind of like videos that I would want to make with that song, like just different edits and stuff like that. Different style vlogs, or even vlogs with just like cinematics in it with drifting and all kinds of other cool stuff. And I think to myself, like, oh yeah, no, that'd be cool to do, but I can't do that right now. And then I was sitting there kind of thinking about it, and I'm like, well, what is the reason that I can't do these videos that I want to do? Besides the fact that my car doesn't have the proper differential to drift yet, what is the other reason why I can't do it? I could just go buy a diff, swap it out, and then the car would be ready to slide, and then I could start getting the clips. I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, okay, well, what would be all the reasons that maybe I couldn't make these edits like I would want to? And it's like, okay, well, I don't have a camera crew. I haven't thought of any certain any locations that I could safely do some street drifting in that's away from people, where it's just a private area that I can get some good clips and record the shot over and over again if it's not exactly perfect. What else? Tires are expensive, but that's not the end of the world. I don't have insanely good skills on editing cinematics, but that's something I could figure out how to do. Like I said before, I don't have a camera crew to record, but it's like, realistically, I don't really need a camera crew. I've got cameras. I can get a tripod and a stick light and set it all up and find a spot, spend a week or two driving around, scouting out some areas that would be cool to get some drifting clips in, and go record them. And it's like, okay, maybe the biggest thing out of all of it is that editing a video like that is going to take a lot of time, especially because I have to learn the ropes around editing more cinematic style videos. Maybe I have to learn a little bit more how to record cinematic style videos. I might need to get one other person to like drive in front of me or behind me to record so that I can get certain shots. Besides that though, what other reasons might I not be able to record these shots that I really want to get? And it's like, all the excuses or all the reasons are just seemingly a bunch of excuses. The only really valid one I could say is that the car doesn't have the proper differential yet, and it takes quite a bit of work in order to swap the diff on this, and that's something I have to schedule time out for. And a diff isn't very cheap, it's quite pricey, so that's something I'll have to purchase and then find the time in order to install it. But other than that, even with that being said, why can't I just start looking for a spot now that maybe say I want to go and shoot the shots at? I could go and scout out the location, set up the camera, just drive through there and see if I like how the shot looks with me just driving through there. Figure out exactly where I would want the camera set up. I could position everything before, get everything set up on the back end, so that right when I'm finally able to get the proper diff for it, I can just throw it in and get the shots. But since I don't have this differential, I made up a million other excuses in my mind about why I couldn't get these shots and why I can't do these videos. And why only if I could record these kind of clips, then maybe then my social media would take off a whole lot more. And it just comes back down to, realistically, like I said before, a whole bunch of excuses that I was conjuring up in my mind of why I couldn't do that. And they all feel so real that it drags you down and it slows you down so much that it becomes nearly impossible to focus on anything else and to move forward in my life in any other way, because I've got this one thing that I feel could really set me off and finally get me going that I can't do because of XYZ reason. If I was in better shape, if I was leaner, if I was bigger, people would be more interested in watching my stuff then. But I just went through this back injury that I'm somewhat recovering from. But that put a huge hole to my fitness progress. I couldn't train for a while. I had to change my diet. All kinds of stuff got messed up. I ended up I would have been damn near 10%, 8% body fat by now if it didn't happen. And content probably would have been excelling. But something a rock got thrown in the middle of my plans and it slowed me down and it messed all my stuff up. And that's another thing that just easily dragged my mind down. Because having a spine issue and potentially looking at the risk of having your legs be paralyzed is definitely a big problem, and that's something that's huge that weighs on you, and it's looking at you right in the face of you might not ever be able to walk again. But nevertheless, there's still things that I could have done to continue progressing forward somewhat that I didn't do. And there's still things that I did that I could have not done that would have helped me move forward as well. So all these things combining just end up feeling so real for all these reasons why that person can do it but I can't. And it just piles up, and then the next thing you know, you're waking up each morning, you're thinking, I don't know what I'm going to do anymore because it feels like nothing is going my way and nothing's working out. And even if that's true, it doesn't mean that you should slow down and stop doing what you're doing, because then you're guaranteeing that you're not going to make it through whatever it is that you need to get through. But if you're at least still doing stuff and still moving forward, you're now guaranteeing yourself that something is going to at least get better. Maybe it's not going to work out the way you want. Maybe life isn't going to become the life that you really wanted it to become. But if it's better than the life that you have right now, and if it's going to at least become better than you have the life than it is right now, then why not continue doing what you're doing? The only reason you want to continue what you're doing is if you feel like what you're doing right now to get somewhat of a better life is so painful and so painstaking that it makes the better life that you are going to have, or that it's maybe giving you, as a net worse. Because you feel like it's so painful to wake up every morning and push yourself each day that if you didn't do all that, even though life would be worse, it would feel better. Therefore, your life would be better. But you know that's not the case. you know that the second you slow down, you're going to lose momentum, and then it's really going to get more difficult. Because it might feel better right as you stop. It might feel better to slow down when you've been pushing so hard, but eventually it does catch up to you. The same way that if you're pushing hard as hell for 3 years, and you're just abusing your body and you're never giving yourself any breaks, that's eventually going to catch up to you as well. There's no difference. And if you slow down, it's going to catch up to you as well. So it's like, I hate the word balance, but there's a balance that you need to find. And just because I say the word balance, that doesn't mean that things need to be split 50-50. Because a balance is whatever it takes to balance something. Not that you have half of one thing and half of the other. You might need to focus on rest and recovery 40% of the time and focus on pushing yourself past your limits 60% of the time. And if that's what the balance is, that's what the balance is. It doesn't have to be half the time you're relaxing and half the time you're pushing. You always need to be pushing more than you're chilling, but you do need to give your body time to kind of reset. Otherwise, it's not just that you're going to emotionally feel burnt out, but you're going to physically burn out your nervous system. And you're going to start getting sick, and you're going to start wearing yourself down. You're going to potentially get hurt. And all these things are just it's not going to be a good thing. And you got to find something that works for you that's going to allow you to find that balance and allow you to get that recovery. If I would have known about all these different peptides and supplements and shit that I use now, way back then, I probably wouldn't be in this position of feeling so physically drained of energy all the time. Because if I go and push myself past the limits, but then I get a good night's rest and I wake up the next day and I use something like NAD+, or even if I didn't get a good night's rest, and before I go to bed, I take my SS31 and MOTC, and then I go use NAD and L-carnitine in the morning, I'm going to feel way better than if I didn't use that. And over time, the more I use these peptides and supplements, it's going to compound, and I'm going to be able to push so much further because I had something additionally supporting myself. And it's like, as some of you guys know, I take like 50 million pills every morning as far as like supplements goes. And people are always like, oh, is all that necessary? It seems like you're wasting your time. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of work. And it is a pain in the ass to weigh out the supplements each week. I don't weigh them with a scale. I just throw them in little containers, but I call it weighing them out. But to load them up, to prep them up, do the supplement prep, to do the peptide preps for the week, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of mental effort because it's just tedious. It's something I don't look forward to doing. I hate prepping my supplements for the week. But the days I don't take them, I feel awful. Like, for example, this morning, I left the house and then I realized I forgot my supplements. That sucks because I know I'm going to feel so much worse today than I would have if I was taking my supplements. And funny enough, the time period where I got my spine injury reoccurred, came back up, whatever you want to call it, was a time period where I had stopped taking my supplements for about 2 weeks because I was so focused on getting this car project done. And everyone's like, oh, how'd you hurt yourself? Too much gym? Too much working out? I'm like, no, you fucking retard. I have a back problem and shit happens and it came back up. But something that also probably played a role in it is I take so many different supplements and peptides that all those things are probably holding my body together as if it is wrapped up in duct tape, making sure that the problem doesn't reoccur. And the second I stopped it, I no longer had that support of all those extra vitamins, minerals, nutrients, enhancements, whatever. And then it all just came falling down and crashing down. And then boom, injury comes back. And it really showed me how much all these things that I'm taking actually do help me. Because a lot of time, after so long, when you get used to feeling the way you feel from taking all the supplements, you think, is this even doing anything for me? And then you stop taking it, and then you start feeling way worse. You're like, okay, it's actually doing something for me. It's just like when you train a lot, and then you start thinking, oh, the gym is becoming too much of a hassle to go. And then you start going less, and you feel like shit about yourself. And then you're like, okay, maybe I should be training more. And then you realize how important the gym is. It's just like the saying of, you don't realize how important something is until it's gone. And that's so true. But back to what I was saying earlier, because I'm kind of bouncing all over the place here. It's like, if I'm giving myself all these excuses as to why I can't do said thing, why I can't record the content I want to record, why I can't have the physique I want to have, why I can't do this, why I can't make money and that person can. If I keep on giving myself these excuses, I am never, it's a guarantee that I'm never actually gonna move forward. But if I at least have the mindset of, I'm gonna figure something out, I'm gonna at least inch forward. But if I only have the mindset of, I'm gonna figure it out and I do nothing, I'm gonna hit some sort of dead stop. So I have to keep moving forward at least in order to actually become successful. But I'm not going to be able to keep moving forward to become successful unless I have that mindset of, I'm going to figure something out. So it all kind of plays in like, it all works together. So my question for you is, what excuse are you telling yourself? Because everybody has excuses that they're telling themselves about why they can't do something. And I feel like truly everybody knows deep down inside what those excuses are and why they're telling themselves those excuses. And for me, it's that I can't become successful and live the life I want because I have all these other issues that are in my way. And I feel that way because I'm so damn tired all the time because I didn't focus on rest and recovery enough that I burnt out my central nervous system. Not emotionally burnt myself out, but physically burnt myself out. And now that I'm spending time to actually focus on sleep, I got myself this sleep ring that tracks my sleep so that it reminds me of how well I'm sleeping. And if I sleep really shitty at one night, I know to not be a dumbass and stay up all night the next night. I know to actually get my rest and recovery. That way I don't ruin myself, because I've gotten in this habit over the past few months of, the second I finally start feeling good again, I'll go and I'll stay up all night, maybe take 5 milligrams of an Adderall and just go boom, boom, work hard, work. And that way I can catch up on a bunch of shit that I missed out. And then I burn myself out again because my nervous system had calmed down just enough to where I feel fine, but I wasn't actually fine. My body hadn't actually recovered. I just felt a little bit better. And since I only felt, this camera's moving, it's pissing me off. Since I felt a little bit better, I took that as, okay, it's time to put my foot back down to the floor. And it's like, no, it's just like if you're driving your car and it's been misfiring like hell, or it's been lift or tick, whatever it may be. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna say lift or tick, because with German cars, when they start ticking, you are supposed to beat on them. But, you know, when it comes to like, yeah, like say your car's misfiring, just because it stops misfiring doesn't mean you now go and put your foot to the floor and do as many pulls as you can. That means you try to figure out what the problem was. Maybe you can do an experiment and put the car in a little boost, but you don't go do a bunch of pulls and go and fuck your shit up. That way, you know, it makes no sense. You get my point that I'm making. I've got to go pick up my food real quick. That way it's not sitting in there. So I'll be back in a second. Hello? No one here? I'm about to go just grab my food. That took a while. It took like 18 minutes past when my food was ready to actually get it. And they gave me one waffle. So I'm going to ask them if it's supposed to come with one. That's a scam. I got scammed. That's a scam, bruh. Fuck Denny's. They normally give me 2 waffles anytime I order the waffle. And they gave me 1. And then they said it only comes with 1. $5 for a single waffle is fucking ridiculous. So, now that it took them 20 minutes damn near to give me my food, it's probably been ready for 20 minutes. It's probably cold by now because they usually get it done a couple minutes before the ETA. I said to have it done at 3. I got there like 3:03. I didn't get my food till 8:19. Ridiculous. Back to what I was saying though. Gotta remember now. Just gonna have to get cut for a second until I can remember my topic I was on. I don't know. I can't remember what I was talking about. But anyways, we give ourselves so many damn excuses for why we can't do certain things in this life. And the only thing that's preventing us from actually doing the things we want are the excuses. Because if you're making excuses, it's a guarantee that you're not gonna figure your shit out. But if you're at least not making excuses, it allows you to be able to move forward. And it's the moving forward that makes the progress. And so many people get this mixed up that they think, oh, well, you know, so many people don't understand that just because you think that you're going to be successful and you keep that positive mindset that you're going to be successful doesn't mean you are going to be successful. And you hear people talking all the time about, you know, oh, my best thoughts come when I'm just staring at the wall and pondering. And sometimes they do, but typically it's not like I spend a lot of the time when I'm at work, I'll be listening to like some ambient music or something with not a whole lot of words. That way I can think more. And I try to think about what's the one thing that I can do that's gonna set me apart from everyone else, and what's the one thing I can do that's gonna shine the light on me and make people see my content. And it's that there's never gonna be like this one thing that just pops in your mind and you're like, that's the missing puzzle piece, and then you're gonna do it and then it's gonna make you successful. It's like you're gonna be just doing a bunch of random shit and you're not gonna know what the hell you're doing, and then one day something's gonna work and you're just gonna run with it. That's just kind of how it goes. And it sucks because it makes it feel like a whole lot of guesswork, and it makes it feel like your success is just based off luck. And it is slightly based off luck, but it's not completely, because you didn't just lay there, do nothing, and then something happened. You actually put in the work, continue to make the content, continue to do whatever it is you needed to do. And because you were doing that stuff, the luck came up, the opportunity came up. But you're never going to get lucky unless you put yourself in a position to get lucky. And back to what I was saying before, is that people think that, you know, they don't understand the concept of you have to believe that something's going to work out while simultaneously still doing stuff feeling like it's not going to work out. Because they understand that, people understand that, like, if you don't think it's going to work out, then it's not going to work out. And if you do nothing, it's not going to do anything. But they can't grasp the concept of, it just doesn't matter how you feel. You still have to do it every day. And the goal is to feel as good as possible. The goal is to be optimistic, to enjoy life every day. But not every day is going to be enjoyable. You're not going to always be happy dandy. It's just not always like that. That's the reality of things. Now, you want most of your days to at least feel decent, to at least feel worth living. But life's not worth living if you don't give yourself something to make it worth living for. And something as simple as a goal that you're working towards is gonna make it worth living for, and it's gonna give you that motivation to push forward and figure something out. But if you have no goals, no ambition, no nothing, you're just gonna be stuck in this dead end, and it's gonna feel like you're just gonna be stuck in the valley of despair, feeling the misery over and over and over again. And that's something that you're not gonna enjoy and you don't wanna feel. And you can solve a lot of that misery feeling and a lot of those unwell feelings with simply just getting healthier, training, eating better, supplementing what your body needs. It's really simple. But if you keep giving yourself those excuses, like I give myself, it's never going to work out. And it's never going to work out for me until I stop giving myself those excuses. So I need to stop giving myself those excuses, and that's why I'm recording this video right now. Because I could have just had that thought that I had earlier and just be like, yeah, that's so true, but then done nothing about it. Not recorded and not shared how I feel. But by actually speaking about it and putting it out into the world, I'm showing people what they can do with life and how life should be and what's holding them back. And if you just understand and grasp this, then it's going to work out for you. And you probably still feel hollow at this point. You probably feel like, yeah, you know, I am giving myself a lot of excuses, but still, what's the one thing that I'm not doing that is going to move me forward? And then you're going to think about it, and then you're going to figure something out, and you're going to think, okay, well, say if I do that, you know, for me, it's content. Say if I do more content, I'm not going to instantly feel better, so I'm not going to have any sort of feeling of reward. And the content's not going to feel nearly as rewarding as it would if I was already successful. But you never get successful unless you do the content when it doesn't feel good to do. But regardless, you know, you're not gonna feel good right away. You have to just figure out something that you can do and then push forward and start doing it. Because that's the only option you have. And what's the latter choice? To sit here and do nothing, to bask in your misery, that your life that you hate. You wake up in the morning, you feel all foggy in the head, you're tired, you don't want to do anything, you don't want to go to the gym right when you wake up. So then you put it off to later in the day. And by the time later in the day comes, you train right before you go to bed, and now you spiked your heart rate before you went to bed, and now you're going to sleep terribly. It's like, no matter what, you're going to feel awful. But if you at least do something while you feel awful, you're at least going to move forward and give yourself a chance of making it to the other side. And it's very probable that you are going to make it to the other side if you just keep on putting in the work and you keep on pushing. But even if it is only a small chance that you make it, wouldn't you rather take that chance than just quit and do nothing? Because at the end of the day, the only thing that's actually guaranteed is death. We are all going to die at some point in time. So just make your life worth something now. That way, when you are on your deathbed, or if something tragic happens, when you're taking your last breath, you at least feel good about what you did and don't feel like you wasted your time here. Because you don't get another chance, you don't get another opportunity, and this is not going to happen again. Every single opportunity that you've missed, and you look back on and think, man, if I would have just done that, I would have been successful. It would have worked out and I would have been fine. There's a crypto coin that I was telling my brother to buy, but I didn't buy it. And if I would have had the same investment that I had 2 years ago in it, if I would have just held it in and pulled it out last week, I would have $500,000 right now. But I don't. And I'm still broke. And I'm still working at the same shitty job that I hate with people that I don't like. People that don't give a flying fuck about me. People that don't treat me well, that just backstab me and screw me over. But that's my fault that I still work here. Because I wanted to take out that initial investment to go spend whatever money and buy whatever stupid shit with it. It's my problem. That's my problem to fix. But another opportunity is going to come up, because if that one came up, something else is going to come up. Something else is going to happen, and I'm going to have another chance to make it work. This video could be my other chance to make it work. This could get a bunch of views and it could put a bunch of eyes on me, and then all of a sudden, boom, just like that, it looks like overnight success. And then now everyone's like, oh, look at him, he just got lucky with that one video. They didn't see the 3 years that I've been pushing at this shit and trying to figure out something to make it work. All they saw is the one video that blew up, and then I just became successful overnight. And they ignore all the past. They ignore all the struggle I went through, all the pain I went through, all the lonely nights, all the sleepless nights, everything. They ignore all of that because it just looks like I became successful overnight. And then they're jealous and they're like, oh, look at him. He's just special because he got lucky. That's not how it is. And that's probably how it feels for you as well. You've been through all this shit in your life and nothing's worked out. But I can guarantee you that if you keep on moving, something's going to happen, and then you're going to be that person that people say, look at that dude. He just got the overnight success. He just had good bodybuilding genetics. He just uses steroids. He just uses peptides, whatever it may be. And they're going to be calling you all these names, calling you a liar, calling you a phony. But you know deep down inside that you put in the work every single day, and that's why you're there. So you know that none of the shit that they say matters, because you're the one who made it work. And you got to remember that, even at your lowest point in time. that you're the one that's putting in the work, and you're the one that is making it work. And you're the one that's going to break yourself free. Their opinion doesn't matter, because they're going to die too, and they do not matter. They can go fall off the edge of a cliff and nobody's going to care. You can go fall off a cliff and nobody's going to care. I can go fall off a cliff and nobody's going to care. So the one thing that matters is that you make something work now. That way your life is worth living. And you will become successful if you keep pushing.